you are damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So the easiest thing to do is, as the English would say, remain mum, which means shh, just shut up.
There was also a report that Charles and Harry have been having video calls and working on their relationship. What have you heard about that? And do you think it's possible for them to mend their relationship?
Well, again, it's a tricky one because they've been in constant communication all the way through this process. It's just that what's being identified by certain areas of the media is that they're not, whereas actually they are in full communication. It's just that obviously we're dealing with people who have very, very busy lives. And so they may not be speaking every single week, but there are Zoom calls or WhatsApp calls being exchanged all the time. So I understand that Harry is actually revealing some of the key details in confidence to his father about the pending memoir that actually will be published, as we know, towards the end of 2022. And so in those discussions, I understand that there are lots of healing aspects that are emerging. For example, the exchange of, well, why didn't we talk about it then? Well, I'm sorry that we didn't. Somehow it seems that the subject was misaligned, and so I'm so glad we're talking about it now. Please forgive me if there was any misunderstanding. The fundamental aspect of our relationship is that I care about you very deeply and love you very, very intensely, etc., etc. I understand that this is what's been taking place between them. So we're really beginning to see that the more transparency we have in all of our communication processes, that we're actually beginning to see that there are changing circumstances within this family. And unfortunately, we only receive little snippets that seem to be very dramatic or detonating devices, which suggests that there's a huge earthquake taking place, whereas actually they are in communication all the time, sharing the most significant things. I mean, one of the difficulties at the moment, of course, that they're all dealing with is that how do we respond to any of the media that's coming forward and asking about Prince Andrew? Because obviously there are a series of huge question marks over Prince Andrew's process at the moment with the judiciary. And so the line that's being taken is the best thing is to remain silent. And I think we saw this last week because both Prince Charles and Prince William were approached slightly boldly, overtly by members of the press, which hadn't formally been arranged, and they just simply ignored what was being asked of them.
Do you feel like the royal family has always done the, never complain, never explain? Do you feel like this tactic still works, or would you want to see some explanation about some of these larger stories to just kind of put these rumors to rest and kind of move on?
Well, there is no destination, I'm afraid, because they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't, because whatever is revealed, as we saw in the slightly clumsy expose that Prince Andrew provided, evidently he feels that he's not being seen truthfully in the way that he wants to be seen, whatever that's based on, whether it's to do with the nature of the overt lack of communication with the press, or whether it's to do with the fact that he feels psychologically that he isn't seen in the way that he wants to be seen. But we know that went completely wrong. That for some reason he wasn't actually able to furnish the right amount of information, or the information that he furnished was seen to be libelous and seemed to be lacking in veracity and absurd. You are damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So the easiest thing to do is, as the English would say, remain mum, which means shh, just shut up.